fucking killing it.
Yeah, you got Wonder Woman out there. Everybody still loves the idea of Henry Cavill as Superman.
Well, he's not going to be the new Superman.
Yeah, he's moving on to. Well, he just did The Witcher. So.
Well, he's out. I'm pretty sure he's out.
So then they gotta find the next Henry Cavill.
Yeah, I don't know, man. What's his face that did Superman Returns is doing a Superman. He's going on a show or something. Yeah,
that's a CW. He's Brandon Routh. He did Superman Returns.
He's getting jacked up for it too.
Yeah, the one with Bryan Singer, and then poof, that was it. That was such a nod to the Christopher Reeves Superman.
They kicked out the last 3 movies and they went after Superman 2 after Zod and all that thing. Mm-hmm. And I like the premise. I just think it was premature. Like it wasn't. The world wasn't ready and the technology wasn't ready, and they didn't pick the right Superman. I'm sorry. I don't care for him.
He could have pulled it off if it just wasn't like nobody wanted Christopher Reeve's replacement.
Yeah,
it's like, and then when Zack Snyder got a hold of Superman, you were like, all right, that's a reinvention of Superman.
Which one I was fine with.
More modern.
The only thing I hated about that movie was the Kevin Costner skit and the Zod thing at the end.
Kevin Costner thing
and the Zod thing, where he was like saving like 2 people when you destroyed. It's like almost like The Boys. It's like the collateral damage. Mm-hmm. You destroyed a fucking city and you're worried about 2 people on a fucking. Seriously?
Yeah,
it made no sense.
Yeah, and then the whole Martha thing in Justice League, in Batman v Superman.
You're killing me,
dog. Got the same names for our mothers.
You watch what's his face becomes the best Batman. It's Michael Keaton. Nobody thought he could pull it off. Nobody thought he could pull it off, and he did.
Yeah,
he's still the best.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely interested
because he does have that. Like, you watch Twilight, and I'll give him credit.
The brooding,
dark, mysterious. Like he has that down pat.
Yeah, yeah. He definitely has that down pat.
I mean,
pun intended.
You got Kit Harington for that fucking role.
Yeah.
But he has
know nothing, Joker.
All he needs is to get jacked up a little bit.
Oh yeah, they got to put 40 pounds on him easy.
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't need him to be Ben Affleck big, but you got to be. I
wonder how tall he is.
I think he's just like 6 foot.
Was he?
I think he's not like tall, but I think he's like 6 foot.
Yeah,
Michael Keaton's not 6 foot.
No. So it's crazy that he came back to 2 superhero movies. Well, one was kind of superhero movies. He did the Birdman movie.
I didn't see Birdman, but I heard it was good.
It was good. The fact that movie was shot, supposedly it was shot in one continuous shot.
That's why it was amazing?
No cuts.
Get the fuck out of here.
That's the rumor.
I got to check it out.
Yeah. Which sounds mind-bending. But then if you watch it, go watch that fucking movie, and with that frame of reference, and then you'll be like, it's almost like, how long can you hold your breath?
Can I ask you a question about Keaton? What happened to him for years? I mean, he's back in the spotlight now. He's back in the frame. He's an A-lister again. But for about 10 years there, the motherfucker was nowhere.
Yeah, I think he just petered out, man. I think he just made a couple...
Millennial Man or whatever that was. Not Millennial Man. That was... What did he do where he was like the duplicate guy?
Duplicity,
that's it.
He did Duplicity, which wasn't a bad movie, but then I think he had some duds.
He did Us, or the one where he videotaped his death for his son, which was
that was awesome, man.
But then I think after 2004 or 3 or something like, you didn't see him for a while.
I don't even think it was that late, dude, because he wound up. Last thing I remember, a couple of little things in between. He did this one where he was I think it was called Pacific Palisade. I can't remember. We got to fact check it. But where he was a psycho, and he wound up renting a room inside of Matthew Modine's. It was the lead. Him and his wife owned a house, and they couldn't afford it, so they wound up taking on a tenant. And he wound up being this guy who was crazy, and basically.
He has that crazy eyes look. He does.
Oh, totally, man. Oh, totally. But he played crazy really well.
You ever see the movie? This is back in the day. Johnny Dangerously?
Love that movie, dude. Are you kidding me?
They changed the color. They stripped off the color of the car.
That movie,
Johnny.
That movie's amazing. That had Joe Piscopo in it.
Everybody in it, man. But that's what I mean. He did another movie where he was a factory car foreman or something.
We got some interference. I'm going to move my phone.
Yeah, well, it might be my phone.
But yes, that was gung ho.
In the 80s was like his realm, man.
Yeah, he dominated the 80s.
He dominated the 80s, and he dominated the early 90s with Batman and stuff. Then for about 10 to 15 years, he did really do shit.
Yeah, in the 80s, I remember seeing him do Night Shift with Henry Winkler, which was awesome. They both worked in a mortuary. And
I don't see that.
Or the city morgue, basically. And they wound up being pimps. They wound up, I think it was, I could be screwing this up, but really good. He played comedy really well. His comedic timing was awesome. He was kind of like that guy. Similar to Tom Hanks' sort of path.
Right, but Tom Hanks kept going on the path. He kind of stalled.
Yeah. Tom Hanks did Bosom Buddies, and he did Splash, with Ron Howard.
I mean, he's going to be fucking your neighbor, for God's sake.
Oh, my God.
And you know what? If there's anybody who can pull that shit off, it's Tom Hanks.
Yeah, and I have that in the trailers, because I did see the trailer for that this
You know
week.
what? And it's based on, I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but it's based on an interview that guy did. What the hell's his name? Mr. Rogers.
Fred Rogers, yeah.
Fred Rogers did. So... And in the trailer, it seems endearing that this guy is... How can anybody be that nice?
Dude, it is crazy. Like, what a genuine character he is, man.
I didn't see the Netflix thing, but supposedly it was really good.
Dude, I saw the Netflix thing, and you think that you saw, like, Captain Kangaroo. Remember Captain Kangaroo?
Barely, but I did.
So, Bob Keeshan was Captain Kangaroo. There was rumors that he was drunk on set, and that he played Captain Kangaroo.
Pee Wee Herman had a hand with a dick problem. So,
yeah, like, there's always the flip side where these guys are dark, right? But supposedly, Fred Rogers was just as genuine gets. And we'll talk about it more when we get to the trailers.
It's almost poetic that the most genuine actor in Hollywood is going to play him.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody...
Who else?
I mean, I don't know any A-listers, but any articles you ever read about Tom Hanks, you never read a negative... There's no negative article ever about that man.
So charming, so seemingly so genuine. Who knows? He could have bodies in his trunk. But
probably does. You know what I mean? Who knows?
He might have a swing and a gag ball. Who knows?
Who knows? Trump can get away with everything. Fuck, might as well be Tom Hanks too. All right, let's actually do the introduction and get started.
That would break my heart, though. If it was
Tom
Hanks.
Man. He's a treasure.
All right. So here we go. Are you ready? All right, 1, 2. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Nick, John, and Jamie Show. I'm John.
I'm Nick.
And we are without Jamie. If you listened to last week's episode, Jamie announced he was going on a much needed vacation.
So you got me there. Actually, in the beginning, you went 1, 2, 3. You remember Lethal Weapon where they're always arguing? If they
do you go on 3?
Are you on 3 or do you go 3 then go? And that's where I was like, you're 1, 2. And I'm like, is he going to say 3? No, we will. All right. We're moving here.
You know what, dude? Sometimes I'll do 3, 2, 1. Sometimes I'll do 1, 2, 3. It's almost just to prep my brain.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. I just didn't know which one you were going to land on.
Well,
and made me think of the movie.
But the thing is, too, is that, we do a little bit of a warm-up and a preamble. Sometimes it makes it to the show. Sometimes it doesn't. But it's exactly that, right? We do that warm-up. And sometimes there's little nuggets that I'm like, yeah, we should totally share this with everybody.
Well, absolutely. I think that's where the fucking the beaver came from, wasn't it?
Gold, man. Gold. We got to have Jerry back on.
Oh, absolutely. 3 Spocks. 3. What the fuck?
Now there's 3 Spocks. So let's start off with the box office, Nicholas. Weekend box office. Lion King.
Still roared, huh?
Yes. Roaring like a mofo, despite
the bad reviews.
Some of the bad reviews, some of the negative comments and criticisms.
Dude, I think people are just nostalgic, and it's just one of those things like me. I mean, I went and saw it. I mean, I read the bad reviews, but I'm like, it can't be that bad. And it wasn't that bad, but what they've said in the reviews, I kind of do agree with. It was a lacked emotion, and it's so true. And I do believe, we talked about this last week, I don't want to go into it too much detail. I think some of the people that are playing the characters, they shouldn't have went with.
Yeah, I mean, good acting is good acting, and I haven't seen Beyonce get nominated for anything,
or even
besides
young
Grammys,
or the young Simba. I didn't like him, or not Timon. I didn't like the guy who played Timon, not Pumbaa. Obviously, I like Seth Rogen. So,
and voice acting's hard.
It is. I mean, if it was easy, they'd all do it. I mean,
exactly.
So, I mean, Beyonce, I just think another person that.
She's a performer, of course, but she doesn't have her acting chops.
No.
You know,
and stand there and look pretty and sing and shut up.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but that's the truth.
I just saw a clip, man, because she was pregnant and gave birth to her twins. Of course, it came right along with pushing a diet regimen and an exercise regimen, which I think is such bullshit when celebrities subscribe and try to...
hear something fucked up about her?
Go ahead.
There's a rumor, and I'm not sure if this is true. She will only go to the bathroom with red toilet paper.
Fuck you.
I swear to God.
Seriously?
That's the rumor I heard. Like when they do a stage thing and has to have red toilet paper.
What if you have an issue and your butthole's bleeding?
But
you'll never be able to tell.
Well, it's like my buddy used to work for Hertz, and he years ago when there was a different CEO, he said the CEO would only drink Fiji water. It's like, what the fuck? It's just fucking water. But if he didn't have his Fiji water,
there's hell to pay.
These people that get to a point in their lives where they're so financially above the fray, they lose all touch with reality.
Yeah, there's that, and then there's the Van Halen thing with the green M&Ms. You ever hear about that? Or I forget what.
Oh, they picked it out.
Yeah, we just need
stupid.
But there was a reason behind that. Before, I thought it was them just being Hollywood and
logical,
being rock
or is it just stupid?
Well, it's a quality thing, meaning that they have agreements with certain facilities, and sometimes they want to make sure that the agreements they have with the venues that they go to, or whatever the agreement is for. So say they're doing a tour and they're in Philadelphia and they're playing at the Link and they're staying at XYZ hotel.
Okay.
Well, all that has to be organized and arranged and everything. But they could fuck up if, depending on who they deal with, the person that they deal with, if they're not on top of the quality control, meaning they're not paying attention to the details.
So that's why they put that in there, because if they don't, then they know they're not paying attention to everything else.
Yes, exactly. If they get that right.
I get that. It's a little far, but yeah.
But the Fiji water thing sounds like a bunch of bullshit.
It is bullshit. He said the guy was a dick. The person
what an asshole.
You know.
You hope for that karma to come around, but it doesn't.
The guy doesn't work for them anymore anyway. He fucked up the company and they left.
Yeah, he's got some golden parachutes.
But anyway, back to
The Lion King.
Yep.
So Lion King, $76 million. It is doing the numbers. It's just inches away from $1 billion as of today. Today being the 30th of July. $999,553,000.
Fuck, man. I take
$898.
I take the original over that any fucking day of the week, and twice on Sunday.
Nostalgia is a powerful drug, man.
It is, man. It is, and I'll give him this. Favreau delivered on, the look of the lions and all that. I still believe he shouldn't have went too real, because I thought they should have had some kind of emotion set in.
Yeah. Just
a little bit. He didn't put any. He went super real. And I think that was a mistake.
Dude, there's something, and I agree with you, and where I'm going is that there is something where you can go and animate something and get somebody to feel something in their heart, where they're like welling up with emotion through a drawn line, you know what I mean? It's all like old school animation was hand drawn stuff. You go back to just some of the voice characters. I remember Robin Hood, Disney's Robin Hood, right? I don't even know if it was exactly called Robin Hood. Robin Hood was a fox.
I remember.
Remember?
Yeah.
And so the voice acting was so choice, and then it was coupled with this very dramatic, again, I'm just ignorant, but I'm going to say very animated character portrayals. And you're like, the little kid voices that they used, the little kid actors, Like sometimes they were little scratchy, big-eyed looking characters, and you'd hear him talking. You're like, oh my god, man, that's got me in the feels,
Yeah.
And that's exactly.
What about American Tail, the little mouse?
Exactly.
Oh,
5 you can. Like,
they invested in that. This time they didn't invest in that.
Yeah.
They grabbed a bunch of big names. I don't even know where that kid came from to play Simba, but they grabbed a bunch of big names, just entertainment names, not acting names, entertainment names. And it's sad because they missed it and they just spent all the money on the names and what it's going to look like rather than the substance.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. 20 years from now, when these kids are adults, they're not going to give a shit about this movie.
They'll still care about the original, guaranteed.
Probably. But, because it doesn't have that same type of emotional resonance.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah. So Lion King was number one with $76 million. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I saw this movie.
My stepmom did. She said it was good. It's a little long for her taste. But it's quintessential...
Quentin Tarantino.
Where he has, I was trying to get that out. It's a little tongue-tied. But he has a twist in the middle that takes it in a different direction that you didn't see coming.
Yeah.
But she said what really saved the movie was the banter between Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio.
1,000%.
They were fantastic together.
Yes.
And they said Leonardo DiCaprio really pulls out all the stops with acting because he has like these moments. Even Brad Pitt said in an interview, he goes, he's never seen anybody do a spaz like that.
He's a star, man.
Yeah.
I mean, like legit star. Like you see shitty acting and then you see Leonardo DiCaprio or anybody that's an A-lister and you're like, yeah, that's why they're making
He
that
sold
money.
me on Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
Dude,
everything he touches. I haven't seen him do a bad performance.
But, before that, I mean, like you see Inception and all that. That's all good, but that's all like Christopher Nolan. He can make almost anybody look good.
Sure.
But Wolf of Wall Street, I mean, how fired up this cat got.
Yeah.
And then him talking about shit and then doing other scenes where he's like low key and it's just
range.
He has range. I mean, I've never seen him do comedic, like strictly comedic. He's never done that. But he has that, what you would call chops. He has that chops where it's just like, yeah, I get it why he dates supermodels and does what he does.
Oh, God. His dating history is like legendary.
Him and Brad Pitt probably can go. Brad Pitt dates movie stars. He dates supermodels.
Yeah.
Like it's fucking what's the difference?
He dates women that were created in a lab somewhere.
Right. And same with Brad Pitt. I mean, there's two people he married. Fuck, dude. Brad Pitt, Leonardo just told him, turned around to him and said, just don't fucking marry him, dumbass.
That was George Clooney's MO.
Yeah.
But
George Clooney couldn't act, though. He's an okay actor, but he's not that quality.
No.
I even think Brad Pitt's better than George Clooney as an actor.
Well, I mean, I think he's edged out. Like you look at Brad Pitt in
Training Day. I mean, Fight Club was fantastic.
Fight Club, awesome. 7, awesome.
He should have won for one of them, and he never did.
Yeah,
I think back then people just looked at him as like a pretty face.
Totally,
and he got that. Where Leonardo DiCaprio is a cute. I'm not gay, but he's a cute looking dude. He's not.
I'd be gay for Leonardo.
He's not as pretty as Brad Pitt was. No. Brad Pitt has that like look like that.
Yeah.
He could either be masculine, he's just...
Dude, Legends of the Fall, are you kidding me?
Yeah, right?
He's the prettiest / most handsome dude in the world in that movie.
Dude, he looked fucking good in True Fucking Romance when he was the stoner guy. It's like his first fucking role, and it's like... You're the prettiest.
Don't condescend to me.
You're the prettiest fucking thing in this movie, and the blonde was beautiful.
Patricia Arquette. So, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood did $41 million.
So, what would you give it? Give me a review. I don't give a fuck.
All right, let's break form and then
I'm not going to go see it.
All right, let's do this. Let's go quick through the box office and then we'll do 1-2 punch on Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and then The Boys. And then some trailers. Then trailers and stuff like that.
Yeah, because we got tons of trailers that got released this week. And then just some info news on some stuff.
Yeah. Spider-Man Far From Home $12 million at the box
It broke
office.
$1 billion.
Worldwide, $1 billion.
What is it? The
$39 million.
sixth Marvel movie to do that?
Dude, but think about that. Lion King's on the cusp of $1 billion.
Disney rules the fucking movies.
Holy cow. And
Jesus Christ, they just can't do no fucking wrong.
Dude, and then Toy Story 4 did $10 million at the box office. Worldwide, $920 million.
It'll break $1 billion.
So it's, definitely. So it's 1, 2, 3 movies that are just almost at $1 billion or at $1 billion. And then you just had Avengers Endgame.
I just don't understand all these other movie studios. I mean, yes, Disney is A and everybody else is probably D's.
Yeah.
But why haven't you picked up on this shit? Why are you guys constantly putting out shit?
Well,
I'm talking about the big box office. There's still some low ticket movies that do really well that blow your mind. But what's the last big budget movie that wasn't Disney made make $1 billion?
That's a good question. I'm not sure.
Exactly.
Did any of the DC movies make $1 billion? Oh, Wonder Woman did.
Wonder Woman did?
I believe so.
But that was 2 years ago.
That was a while ago.
That's what I'm talking about.
Movies.
That's what I'm talking about.
I think maybe Aquaman, but I'm not sure.
I'm just, Disney, not DC, but just
they're limping along in comparison.
But movies, any other movie besides Disney movies make $1 billion.
Yeah.
Any.
No, I can't think of any off the top of my head.
That's what I'm talking about. It's like, what the fuck?
People are going to get fired if they greenlight a movie that doesn't make $1 billion at Disney.
Right? Right? That's why do you think Ron Howard's not making a Solo too?
Well, I mean, if you think about it, Disney,
and that wasn't his fault. That was Ryan Johnson.
Fucker. Disney is printing money right now, and let's be fair, they're really good at the acquisition game. They acquired the properties that they knew were going to make money.
I think Baker just told me, one of my friends, told me Disney had one of its biggest years ever, profit wise.
Oh, I believe it.
Like percentage how it went up.
That son of a bitch probably invested 10 years ago.
No.
I'm joking. I love Baker.
He wishes.
So let's just finish off the box office. Last, in a staggeringly, well, not so much for the weekend, but Crawl. That movie keeps making money.
I still don't know what it is.
It's basically, here's the premise. I believe it's somewhere down south, probably in Florida, to where there's a torrential downpour, a thunderstorm, hurricane, whatever you want to call it, and a woman gets trapped with her dad in her house, and then there's a giant alligator that kind of follows her through and tries to eat her up inside her own house.
The alligator goes up steps?
Well, it might be a single level. I don't know. Well, if the water rises. Yeah, it's
exciting.
Know what it is?
It's exciting, John. Sign me up for those tickets, baby.
You know what it is? It's the Meg.
Yeah, fucking right.
Basically.
Dude. I actually watched that. No, I didn't go to the movies and watch it. I'm fucking not wasting my money. But we watched it.
Yeah, it's on HBO.
Yeah. I wish I hadn't.
It is. You gotta, when you watch a movie like
Anything called The Meg is fucking no. And I like what's his name? The karate guy, the ball.
Jason Statham.
I love him.
He's great.
Hobbs
and Shaw.
No.
Not the Meg.
No, yeah, not the Meg. Dude, that was a paycheck movie if you ever seen it.
Absolutely.
It's like when Tom Cruise made that fucking not Tom Cruise. Matt Damon made that dragon fucking movie.
Yeah, The Great Wall.
Cha-ching!
Yeah.
$20 million.
Totally.
Thank you very much.
Samuel L. Jackson does the
Snakes
Deep
on a
Blue.
Plane.
What's the Snakes on a Plane. What was the one with the sharks? Deep Blue?
He did one with
Remember he does the they're in an undersea sea lab or whatever, and the sharks get smart and they're trapped down there, and then Samuel L. Jackson turns around and he does the speech, which was the best scene in the whole movie, and he's basically like, "We are gonna get out of here," and the shark comes up and pow and snatches him up. And I'm like, the biggest star in this movie just got his ass eaten.
Now that's a movie where you would just get blazed and watch. Dude, it would just be hilarious to see Samuel L. Jackson do a speech as he normally does.
Yes.
And get snatched. It would be fantastic.
It's one of the better moments in movie history.
I've been saving snakes on a plane for when I get blazed. I don't smoke that often, but I've been waiting to do it for this fucking movie.
Wait till it gets legalized.
Yeah,
You'll be
exactly.
Fine.
Then I'm going to like blaze and I'm going to watch snakes on a plane. Because apparently some people fucking liked it. It made money.
Yeah. Motherfucking snakes in a plane. God, that guy makes some money.
He does, and he doesn't do shit anymore.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I loved it.
Boy, Nick Fury.
Yeah. Well,
but I mean, he doesn't even do Nick Fury anymore. He barely does anything for it.
It's great. He's in every. Well, I don't know. Is he in every movie?
Nope.
No. Which one? I know we talked about
Ant-Man's.
this. Oh, he wasn't in Ant-Man.
Ant-Man's. He wasn't in the third Thor. He wasn't in the second Thor.
Oh, you're getting some cred here, man.
He wasn't in. There was another one he wasn't in. I don't think he was in the Avengers, the second Avengers.
Maybe not.
Anyway,
moving on to news. I only have one thing for the news. I know you got a couple things, Nick.
Well, just rumor, not really news.
Rutger Hauer passed away. Blade Runner. You name it. Lady Hawk. He was in Hitcher.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah. He was in a couple Star Trek episodes, wasn't he?
I'm not sure if he was in Star Trek episodes, but he was definitely.
I think it was the Next Generation.
A Hollywood staple.
Right? Yeah. But he was always like the quintessential bad guy.
Yeah, he was a bad guy. Well, when he was in Lady Hawk, he wasn't the bad guy. He did that movie in, I want to say, the 80s or 90s with Michelle Pfeiffer and Matthew Broderick, a young Matthew Broderick. Awesome movie. I enjoyed that movie. Obviously, Blade Runner. He's got one of the best. I want to say one of the. He does basically this. I don't know if it's soliloquy or whatever. He basically talks about. He improvised. You want to talk about Harrison Ford and improvising, and he has in Blade Runner at the end. He's about to die because every one of the replicants that are in his party have a 4-year longevity, and that's this whole thing. And I'm here. I'm back on Earth. I'm here to meet my maker, and I'm here to get more life. And he's artificially created, but he
wants to keep living.
Wants like any human. Like he's basically the villain. But he is showcasing or showing the most human qualities of any human. Not human, but has achieved humanity, right? And so in that, he talks about this, he's got these great lines where it's like, I've seen attack. It's like the thing is really commonly known as tears in the rain. But he says, I saw attack ships on fire off the shoulder of Orion. I watched sea beams glitter in the dark near the Tannhauser Gate. All those moments will be lost in time, like tears in the rain. And then he says, time to die. And it's one of the most poetic moments of that whole movie. And Rutger Hauer was the one that delivered it, and it wasn't on script. And he brought it to this, and he's gone on interviews for that particular movie. He's gone on interviews and saying, basically dogging Harrison Ford, saying, come on, Deckard was such a boring character. He's like, there was nothing he brought to the table. And since I've seen him talk to that movie in these interviews after the fact, I've rewatched Blade Runner, and it's one of my favorite movies.
If not your favorite.
It's up there.
Whoa. Ghostbusters 2 is obviously better than fucking Blade Runner.
Fuck you, man.
Yeah,
no way.
No. We're not.
If you're channeling Jamie on his vacation, then I understand where you're coming from.
When you see the Statue of Liberty walking across that, come on!
With angry dancing ooze.
Go ahead. I'm just fucking around.
But, he was in that. He was in Lady Hawk. He was in the Hitcher. Have you seen The Hitcher? Mm-mm. Dude, it holds up. C. Thomas Howell, Ponyboy Curtis from The Outsiders. is in this movie, and he's traveling across, like it looks like Arizona and Texas and
Route
things like that,
66 or something.
like a desert, lower part of the United States. He's returning a rent-a-car, and he comes across
A hitchhiker?
a hitchhiker. The hitchhiker's
Naturally, you pick him up.
well, yeah. Well, you got to think about the time too. I think it was the 80s or 90s.
Yeah, but naturally, you would. Of course, you would.
Of course.
Why not?
If you don't
Ted
pick 'em
Bundy
up-
was around. That's what happened with him.
If you don't, and that was in the 70s or 60s and 70s. But then actually, if he picks him up and chaos ensues. Check that movie out.
Okay.
I want a full report the next time you come back.
Yeah. It's going to happen. Sure.
Lot of great movies. What a great character.
Yeah, he was good. He was a really good actor.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we lost Rutger Hauer at 75 years old.
We also lost the voice of the original Minnie Mouse.
Yes, and that was she was also a character on The Simpsons too, right?
Was she really?
Not the original Minnie Mouse. Who do
The
we
Minnie
lose?
Mouse, the original voice of Minnie Mouse died. She's like 80-some years old.
Oh, really?
This week. The only reason why I know that is because my daughter is a fan of Minnie Mouse, so I imprinted on my brain. I don't know her name now.
Yeah. Well, I knew who was it. Yeah, but there was another voice actor who played one of the characters in The Simpsons, and she passed away as well this week. Retired after Doris Grouse. And I'll look it up. You're right. Minnie Mouse, Simpsons voice actor Russi Taylor dies at 75. So, moment of silence for Rutger Hauer and Russi Taylor. Both die at 75, coincidentally.
Hey, same age. How about that?
Yeah. So, moving on. That's all I have for the news, Nicholas. What do you have? Anything?
I got a couple things. Actually, I just Dune wrapped up this week.
Shit, yeah.
So there's no trailers, nothing about it, but the cast is phenomenal. They wrapped up shooting. You know there's always going to be reshoots.
Yeah.
I have no idea of release date. I'm assuming if they wrapped up now, it's probably sometime next summer. I probably would think they would do somewhere in the August era. Because I don't think they will, not unless they really revamped everything to make it really mass appeal. But I'm stoked because I know the original movies didn't get great reviews. I loved them. Mm-hmm. I thought they were fantastic.
I did too, man.
Yeah.
I remember seeing it in the theater when I was a kid.
Man, you're older than me.
I'm a geezer.
No, but I loved them, man. I just thought the overall story is fantastic. I just think yes, it could be used to be tweaked, but I think it's really compelling. You know what I mean? And if it's done right, you really could do something, especially with the Game of Thrones type audience you got going on here. And I think with Jason Momoa, who else is in it? There's a bunch of actors they talked about.
Jason Momoa, Javier Bardem, Dave Bautista, Stellan Skarsgård. It looks like they pulled from a lot of people that have been doing work with Disney, right?
Exactly. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, you got Oscar Isaac, who is,
which I can't stand him now. But.
Well, he's still a great actor. Josh Brolin, Thanos himself.
Oh, Josh Brolin.
Yeah.
And I wonder what character Josh Brolin's going to be.
He's going to be, they say, I don't know the characters because I'm not real intimate with the understanding.
What's his name?
He says Gurney Halleck.
Gurney.
Yeah, see.
Gurney is the Jean-Luc Picard character.
Oh, the trainer. The guy that taught him how to combat.
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
Dude, that's going to be badass.
Ooh, boy.
Like a horse in the desert or something. I don't know.
I'm pretty stoked about this.
I'm stoked about that too. And I also read a Lord of the Rings.
Release date, because I have my I'm so
for
good.
Which one?
For Dune. I'm so good. I have my finger on the pulse of geek culture. Actually, I just
Googled it while I was talking.
November 20th, 2020. So 2020.
That makes sense. November is a good date for that. I think that's a good date.
Yeah, that is a good date, actually. I agree.
I think it's good. You don't want to go in the summer because I don't think you'll win that. I think it's good. And Amazon's Lord of the Rings show. Guess how much money they've invested?
How much?
Guess.
5 million episode, 10 episodes, $500 million. I don't know. More? Really? I'm so excited. My pants are tight. $2 billion?
$1 billion.
Oh,
You
$1
said
billion.
half a billion.
Oh, double.
I was like
Double. Okay.
Yeah. A bill?
Holy
man.
shit, man.
I probably $200 million for the rights, but still $800 million for the show.
I'm gonna send.
Fuck, man,
dude.
I can't find the release date though. They're not.
Yeah, I don't see it either.
Amazon really tight. Even when they released the trailer for Jack Ryan 2, coming soon. Nothing.
Yeah.
And you're like, motherfucker. We'll get to that in a minute. But then the last news I got is just more rumor mill.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to put it out there because I like the rumor. The next Star Wars movie, The Rise of
Skywalker.
The rumor on the street is that the theory is that Snoke, you'll find out that was more Dark Sidious, meaning the Emperor, the whole time.
So Snoke was a puppet to Dark Sidious.
Yes.
Interesting.
I didn't read the whole article, but I glanced at it, and I'm assuming it's going along more with the where he's a Force ghost but evil.
Yeah, you know what? That's a good point.
And then he maybe invaded the body of whatever, because Snoke came out of fucking nowhere.
Yeah.
Where was he when Dark Sidious was there?
God.
You know what I mean? So,
Jamie listens to this episode. He's going to be yelling at he's going to be yelling at his iPhone.
That's why I'm bringing it up now. So, and then it also brings to the light that why else would Kylo Ren, Ben Solo, keep looking at a helmet, telling the helmet of Darth Vader, show me the vision of the true dark side.
Yeah.
Obviously, something is reaching back at him, giving him false information.
Yeah, and that makes sense because
At least
it wouldn't be Anakin.
At least it will tie it together, because it couldn't have been Anakin. Anakin's
a good guy now.
He turned
even
good.
as a Force ghost.
He's turned good, so it had to be something else compelling him to turn evil.
Yeah, he felt conflicted.
Now, the only way that will work is, now I don't know, but how you tie that in? How do you make that believable in the Star Wars lore?
Dude, I like to think. I remember one of our previous episodes. We were perplexed at how, after Endgame, we were thinking, how does Marvel, in as long as maybe a 3-hour movie, finish? How do they unscramble this Rubik's Cube and deliver everything that they need to deliver? No, that was actually before Infinity War. And they did, right? So I hope upon hope that I get surprised in a very similar way.
The problem with this is, and it's a huge plot hole, is everything that what happened in the middle movie.
Yes.
I personally think, because Abrams was an executive producer along with Kathleen Kennedy, I think they always, all along, had Mark Hamill dying in the second movie. Which, if it was done right, again, I wouldn't have had a problem with it. I think they originally had Leia being the chosen one, and that would have been the twist.
That would have been a killer, man.
That would have been a killer twist. But unfortunately, what happened screwed everything up. But still, even if she didn't die, they still made the second movie look like crap. But we're not going there, because we could go there. Every episode could be about that. I just wanted to bring this article to light because if it's somewhat true, at least it will hold some backstory to Snoke, and it will pull things together a little bit.
Hopefully they're paying attention, right?
Hopefully.
And hopefully somebody's plugged into social media, and hopefully somebody's actually listening to all the negative responses that have happened over the past couple of years.
We know Jamie has.
Yes, I know. And I just want to know this, Nick. Do you have a room in your house? I know you got a busy house. You got, your lovely family, to where when you get a little overwhelmed with thinking about, the movie that shall not be mentioned, is it just, I'm going to say, let's call it a screaming room.
No, that's why I have a 15-year-old stepson. I just unleash. What did you do now? No, I'm all kidding, but all kidding aside. But yeah, man, it's. I gotta ask you a question. This is a serious fucking question because I was thinking about this week. Will you see it opening night?
I have a lot more time than you guys do.
No, because I don't think it'll be
in protest. Will I not see it?
No, not in protest. But are you jazzed up to see it opening night? Like if Endgame, we were jazzed.
Yeah,
we were like, man, we can't fucking wait. We're doing this shit.
Oh no, my level of excitement is nowhere near it.
That's what I mean. So it's like before. I was thinking about it this week. Where
it's an abusive relationship.
Yeah, after I read the article, is Disney going to take a hit the opening 2 nights?
I don't know. You know what? I thought that with Aladdin. I thought that with... I didn't think that with Lion King until after I saw some of the reviews, and the reviews hit home. Like we talked about Lion King. We wanted that to be a home run, and it kind of fell flat in our minds. So I was thinking like, and you know, this is how self-centered I am.
But I don't mean to cut you off.
No,
I just
ahead.
want to say this is going to make $1 billion no matter what. It's going to make $1 billion. But the problem is, if it doesn't beat The Last Jedi and exceed, it's going to be a failure because that means Star Wars is on the decline.
Yeah, dude. Oh my God. Yeah.
So that's what I mean.
That's a great point.
So that's what I mean. It has to have a rewatch factor of at least 8 or above.
Yeah. Well, and let's not forget.
I have to at least want to see it a second time.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's not forget what the intention was with this new cast. The new cast was to launch, basically replicate the same fandom that's going to take Disney into the next 30 years, 40 years, or whatever. That was the intent, right? Have something that's so good and so precious that sparked that fire in 1970s.
I think they missed one word there, precious.
Yeah.
They did, because if they were really focused on precious, they would have honored what they had and then moved forward.
Yeah.
Not try to discredit what they had to move forward with the other characters. And that's what they tried to do. They tried to, like, you know, the characters that they had that were great, they were trying to downplay them to a degree. And I think that was the wrong move.
I totally agree. They were trying to wean us off of the love affair we had with.
They should have
the original.
Played it up. Like, look at Endgame, man. They went into it. They went into Endgame, the Russo brothers, and they knew the whole movie wasn't going to be about the original Avengers. They couldn't do it. It was 3 hours. They couldn't do it. They had to include other characters, but they gave them their just dues, especially in the last couple shots of who was standing there. Thor, Iron Man, Captain America.
Yeah.
You know, the main 3 that everybody has revolved around.
Yep.
You know, they gave them their due. You know, they're honored. They knew that they weren't going to be able to take on Thanos without everybody.
Yep.
But they gave them their shot, their due, to honor what it was about. You know what I mean?
Totally. They paid homage to. They did callbacks to all the movies in a great way. We criticized the idea of time travel, and they managed to pull that off. Then they also we said they kept the stakes, meaning nobody dies in comics, but people died, right? So it added some. You can have a superhero movie, and then at the end, in a very predictable way, the person who you think has died, similar to what they did in the first Avengers movie, it doesn't die, right? But this was a close. They made you fall in love with these characters, and then they literally had a funeral, like you put that memory to rest.
So my point is more towards the critics than anything else, because every time I read a critic article that is negative against the fans, well, they don't appreciate good cinema because they were trying to move on, and this was a great way to move on from the movie that should not be named.
First of all, as soon as they say cinema, fuck you.
Yeah, right.
It means your nose is in the air and you're a douchebag.
And you're not a true Star Wars fan. But my point to this is, I don't understand where these critics come from, because what has propelled Star Wars there was the fans.
Of course.
And Kevin Feige knows this about Marvel because he is a true fan. How could the critics... it boggles the mind how... I mean, they've been off on some movies, but they've never been that off.
Yeah.
That's a 50-point drop from where they are and where the fans are.
Yeah, totally.
And then everybody's blaming it on trolls. I just don't believe that. But every other movie's fine.
Yeah.
No other movie has trolls but that one movie.
Well, and you're absolutely right. And the thing is, like, they have a challenge of spanning 40 plus years, right? With the Star Wars franchise. Yes, the original movies were really geared up for kids, right? They were geared up for kids. Empire was a lot more serious, right? Minus the, dismemberment, yeah. but
Empire was also done right because they limited the cast. They didn't expand the cast to exponential terms.
Yeah, well, you mean didn't add players to the
only person that added was Lando Calrissian. That
True.
was it.
True.
And they kept it tight.
Yes.
It wasn't even a galactic end-all, be-all battle.
No.
And it's the best movie in the franchise.
I totally agree. But what happened was, George Lucas did the prequels, and he did the prequels with thinking, we're still entertaining children, right? That's why
that was the wrong way to look at it.
You have a young Anakin, you have a young you have a Jar Jar Binks, you have these, you have all these tropes that are where he thought he was like, all right, well, I'm gonna subscribe to the new 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12-year-olds for this next iteration, when you really kind of did a disservice to the original 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12-year-olds. And I think that's the needle that needs to be threaded, which is you have the 40-plus-year-olds, 50-plus-year-olds now, and you need to be able to understand that they're a little bit more sophisticated audiences when it comes to movie watching. And then also, and here's the hat trick, here's the trick shot. Also, honor those fans, honor the tradition, the history, and then also be able to bring in new fans at the same time. Marvel has the formula for that, right? They've done it in 10 years, which is a little bit of an unfair comparison. But they've done it in that 10 years where they're able to cater to the kids, cater to the adults, add some seriousness, add some levity, add some, humor, and be well balanced. I think Star Wars is struggling with that.
Oh, the balance?
Yeah.
Hence what the whole thing is about, is balance. Yeah. they're really struggling with it all.
There's an imbalance in the Force right now.
Totally. You're absolutely right. And Rian Johnson is the Emperor. Yeah. Actually, you know what? Catherine Kennedy's the Emperor. Rian Johnson's Darth Vader.
That's right. All right. So what I'm thinking is we're good with the news, paid homage to Rutger Hauer, and now we're moving on to some trailers. Thank you, sir. Still on the Lost and Teat. God, I love that Super Session. Dude, I saw a new place. Well, it wasn't a new place. I love stumbling on a nice little beer spot. There was a place. I was coming home from work. Didn't go my usual route. And Cindy was like, "Hey, you're going to do the podcast. You're going to grab some beers?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll grab some beers." And I just sort of at last minute saw a little beer stop that had some tasty beers.
Where was that at?
Go down Route 1, make a left onto Cheney Thornton Road, right by where the Dunkin' Donuts is.
Cheney Thornton Road?
Yeah. I'll give you more specifics. People listening are
they're not gonna fucking know. But let's get the trailers, because they dropped a couple good ones.
Zombieland 2.
Oh, dude,
double tap.
I love it. I love the end. I love the end when the alternative, or the other guys got out of the car. She's like, "What the fuck is this?"
It's Luke Wilson and Peter Middleditch. No, Thomas Middleditch.
I don't even know who the kid is. Luke, but it was awesome.
Dude, the way they open, man, they open up, they have all the, and I didn't realize that when the first Zombieland came out, like, they're all talented actors, but they've done so much since then.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, oh, by the way, Woody Harrelson, Oscar nominee, and then
Woody Harrelson was at that point resurrecting his career.
Yes.
Emma Stone was new to the stage.
Yep.
That little girl was a little girl. Uh-huh. Now she's like 20-some years old.
Yeah, they call it out.
And they said, "Stop calling me a little girl."
And the coolest part, man, is that, he had his 70-some rules and everything.
Oh, yeah, the one girl, the blonde, yeah.
Yeah, and
I guess they're broken up, Emma Stone and him at this point.
I guess it didn't work out. But they started out real gangster. They do the slow-mo, gangster ass playing in the background. They're just plugging zombies left and right. Like, they're like, we got this, man. We know we're now living in Zombieland.
Oh, yeah.
And we are the baddest of the bad. And we could shoot zombies at leisure without a real scare or a threat.
Right.
Which is totally cool. And then they roll up on the White House.
Oh, that was badass. I love that. And then he's sitting there. And what was said about sitting in the chair? Something else.
I forget, but it was a little bit of a shot.
It's somebody we know.
Yeah. But Jesse Eisenberg, he does his signature voiceover, and he talks about the state of play, where they are right now, and it just looks like a fun romp.
I'm in, man.
Me too.
I love the first one. I wonder who's going to be the guest star on this one. Last one was Bill Murray. Bill fucking Murray.
Well, Bill Murray, he can be a zombie now.
They kill his ass. I think they just got to do somebody else.
Well, they do have new guest stars. They have Rosario Dawson. I mentioned Thomas Middleditch, and then they got Luke Wilson. And the Thomas Middleditch and the Luke Wilson characters look like, it's almost like This Is Us. Like, these are your doppelgangers.
Yeah, it was great, dude.
It was awesome.
That was perfect.
And it just, like I said, it looks like just bigger, badder, more silly.
Fuck, man, it's fun.
Yes.
End of word. F-O. F-O. F-U-N. Where am I going with that? F-O. F-U-N. Fun.
If I see it, you're going to be F-O-Mo.
Yeah.
And you don't. But one of the scenes that I thought was great was they're mowing down zombies with the combine. It looks like, I said, I'm down. It's happening. Zombieland 2 Double Tap, October 15th. Of course, October. Zombies and Halloween.
Well, you have to.
Hand in hand.
It's stupid not to.
The marketing writes itself. The other one, and we mentioned this in the sort of preamble in our warm up, which was A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, starring Tom Hanks. This movie, I saw the documentary about Fred Rogers, and you want to talk about heartstrings? We talked about tearing up over the Bradley Cooper movie with Lady Gaga, and that moment with Sam Elliott when he turned.
Oh God, that motherfucker!
Yeah. And you were like, we're trying to be all manly men.
You can't, dude. Sam Elliott cried, and he did a good job.
Yeah, and we're like,
it wasn't like a fake fucking tear. It looked real to me,
dude. I watched the documentary about Fred Rogers, and dude was just a genuinely good.
You know what's going to happen in like 10 years or 20 years? We're going to find out the guy was like a fucking sick molester or something like that.
How dare you, Nicholas? Don't you dare
Sacrilege!
say that.
But it goes back to what we're talking about. I mean, you couldn't pick a more genuine person in Hollywood to play this guy. I mean, Tom Hanks is, he's
a real deal.
If not the best, top 5 the last 25 years.
Never a scandal. Never a shitty comment. Never
married Kennedy, didn't he?
Tom Hanks? No. He married Rita Miller.
Oh, Rita Miller.
Yeah.
And she's like cool too, supposedly.
Yeah. But definitely looks like a good tribute movie to the memory of Fred Rogers. I remember in the initial promotion that I saw of this movie, they also showed a clip of him getting his Emmy Award. Fred Rogers getting his Emmy Award. And he goes up and he's got all these celebrities that are in the audience. And he goes up, he accepts his award, and he turns around, and he talks about loving people. He goes, for just 10 seconds, I would like everybody in the audience, and he does it in his Fred Rogers voice, I would like everybody in the audience, I'm doing terrible impersonation.
Yeah, that was bad.
It's terrible.
Just don't do it
I'll
again.
never do it again.
Please don't.
Samuel L. Jackson, I'll do all day, not Fred Rogers. And he says for 10 minutes or 10 seconds, just close your eyes and think about someone you love. And he says it with such genuine, heartfelt enthusiasm that you're like, this dude is the fucking real deal, man.
Fucking angel, man.
Yeah, and he turns around and he says, don't worry, I'll keep the time. Like that. And you're like, ugh, you're such a caretaker, man. And so,
Telling you, man, something hidden in there. Nobody is that fucking good. Nah, I'm kidding. I love Mr. Rogers, and I grew up with the trains. I grew up with all kinds of stuff like that. Pinwheel. I know it's on him, but along those lines.
yeah. Well, dude, my youngest Noah, when he watched Mr. Rogers, my oldest Jack watched Mr. Rogers, and there was a point where there was an episode that Noah liked to watch all the time, and he said to Cindy, he says, "Mommy, let's make a Mr. Rogers sandwich." It was just an episode where he went to a local diner, and he went back behind the counter, and he went back into the kitchen, and they showed him. They said, "All right, well, we're going to make a sandwich." And it was just a tomato, cheese, and lettuce, I think, sandwich. He cut it in half, and that was it. And that was Noah's sandwich. That was his lunch. He's like, I want a Mr. Rogers sandwich. So it's like, generationally, man, this dude keeps affecting people in such a positive way.
He does.
It's good shit, man. So I'm looking forward to that one. And then the last trailer that I want to comment on
There's another one I want to talk about, but we go on.
Is the Cats trailer. So remember the musical Cats?
Yeah.
Well, they did a
I
movie.
couldn't even turn it on, dude. I saw it. Nope. Nah.
I
Nope,
said
nah,
my-
nah. Nah, go ahead.
I said to myself when this trailer came on, because I remember what a phenomenon that whole show was.
It was like the Broadway show.
Exactly. And I saw the trailer and I went, who gives a shit? I really could give two fucks about
I don't even
this.
know what it's about. I know it's about people playing cats, but who gives a
Dude,
fuck?
you're about 1 billion years too late. I can't believe someone actually funded this live action Broadway Cats. Come on, give some other young.
It's fucking gay. The one I want to talk about is we're moving on because I could give a
And
fuck.
not in a derogatory statement against gay people, but in like, I'm 10 years old, and that's what I used to call my buddy because he was just gay.
Sure, that's what I meant. No, The Expanse. There was
Yes.
actually 2 trailers released.
Well, we talked about the first one.
Yeah, there was another one released, with words and stuff. But oh man, I'm just getting
Let's say
hyped.
stoked.
I am getting fucking hyped on that.
I'm really stoked about that. I mean, I don't know what else is on the agenda, man, as far as like
Nah, nothing
TV
else.
watching.
Nothing else. We're done with that. I the next thing I want to talk about, I don't know if it's on your list, is The Boys.
Ooh, it is most certainly on my
I didn't
list.
finish it like you did, but I really
So let's just get into it. That's going to be a topic, right?
I love the approach on the superhero aspect. How superheroes aren't so super.
Well, yes.
They're super powers.
Let's
but
talk about it this way.
It's more like a business.
Well, what do you? How far are you along?
Up to the point where they just talk about being the Spice Girls.
Okay. All right. Great.
You got my gist?
So yes. So the boys debuted last weekend. It's 8 episodes. It's based on the Garth Ennis graphic novel, and the premise is basically, what if superheroes weren't moral, right? What if they were
That's a good
incorporated?
way to put it. I couldn't figure out how to explain this.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What if they were incorporated? The way I see it as like this allegory or metaphor for Hollywood. You got people in Hollywood that have reached the heights upon heights as far as like influence and power and money and all that, and they become untouchable. Their public persona through marketing and through merchandising and through shows and events and everything is one thing. That's the face. But you never know if they turn the corner and are like, God damn, they hate it, right? They're not moral. They're not just. They're not what a superhero should be. They're part of a business. And, you have Billy Butcher, who is the anti-hero of the show, played by Carl Urban.
Why does he have an English accent? I still don't understand.
He's got a real hardcore, like almost Cockney English accent.
Yeah, and I think it would have been better suited for him just to
It's
have
a little too thick.
Yeah, and you know what? He used to be part of the CIA or whatever government agency.
He wasn't part of anything. That's the bullshit that he was like.
But he knows the CIA. Chief.
Yeah, well,
he worked with her.
He
used to have a relationship with her.
Yes, and she was like she needed somebody who had a little bit of spoilers, folks. Let's on the outset we're going to say 2 thumbs up on The Boys. So and then we're going to spoil a little bit of shit. I think she needed somebody to play the heavy, and knew that he had similar interests as far as like spanking these wankers.
I still haven't got to the point. I get it. They probably killed his wife or girlfriend, but he he's all out to get all of them. Like Starlight seems like a genuine person.
Yes,
you know what I mean. Who's not corrupted by whatever superhero villainy or even her mother that's putting on her right now. So he doesn't even give a fuck about that. He just gives a fuck about killing superheroes and shaming them.
Well, he definitely wants Homelander.
For a reason. Homelander fucked his wife or killed and Homelander is fucking flat out evil. But the problem is, the only reason why Homelander hasn't turned straight up evil is because the corporation has something on him, and I do not know what it is.
He's got a real weird relationship with Elizabeth Shue's character.
Right, is that his baby? Because every time he sips in and she's know. Doing the milk thing.
Yeah,
but he's it's crying. It's like a weird relationship, but then Elizabeth Shue isn't even the boss. There's a guy above her.
Yeah.
And he's afraid of that guy, because I remember the one episode she said, this wasn't written by me. This was written by, I think she said Gregory or whatever the guy's name is. And he got taken back. I'm like, you're fucking impenetrable, dude. Nothing can kill you. But maybe there is something that they know that they have that can hurt him really bad.
Yeah.
And he's terrified of it.
Yeah, I mean that's amazing premise, right? It's a great.
So you have to hold him back, because as you're watching this Homelander guy, nobody has anything on him. Everybody on the outside, even other superheroes, think there's nothing wrong with him outside this Seven. Yeah. Seven's afraid of him, but outside that, everybody thinks he's this pure-hearted, genuine dude. It's like Superman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's kind of like a Brightburn, like not in the same way.
I was thinking that one on the way over. Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Like Brightburn, what if Superman was bad?
Right. But it's almost like somebody got him. It's Superman bad, but somebody got him at the right age where they were able to get through to him saying, if you do what I say, and they're holding a nugget over their head, maybe it's fucking a certain kind of kryptonite saying, or something, that if you don't do what I say, this shit's going to blow up in your face, and people will figure out what I know, and they'll kill your fucking ass.
Yeah. He straight up doesn't care.
He doesn't give a fuck. After what I saw happen on the fucking plane where he said he couldn't save anybody.
Yeah.
When he probably could have saved half the plane.
Yeah.
By zipping back and forth. But he was all perception for him, because it would have came down on him that he couldn't save the other half. Mm-hmm. That it wouldn't have looked good.
Yep.
Because he can't lift up the whole plane while he's flying, which was a clever twist.
Yeah,
Superman was always like, I'm flying, lift.
Yeah.
But reality, it's like
they actually added some engineering.
Yes, it's like he can fly, but he can't use his super strength while he's flying. or something like that. I don't.
Yeah, they were like my super strength is grounded because I can basically leverage the earth, right? I can stand on something and lift it. It's like if someone, if you don't have any, well, you know what I mean.
I do know what you mean. I think our listeners do too, because they're like all like us.
Yeah, I think the concept of the anti-superhero, corporate superhero, how that impacts bigger things, like what if they were subcontracted by the government to fight overseas for us? What type
I haven't got there yet for me. They're pushing that.
Well, they've been teasing that.
It's kind of like what happened in The Watchmen, right?
Yes, exactly.
Where Manhattan came in and just like fucked everybody up.
Yeah, totally. Like, what do you do where your superpower is, or your defense system isn't just a bunch of nukes?
I gotta ask you a question. What did you think of the sex scene where the girl exploded the dude's head? I mean, I was all for her. I was like, God damn, she is one hot piece of ass. And then that happened, and I just went, my dick shriveled up inside of me. I'm like, no, thank you, I'm good.
Yeah. She basically sat on his face and crushed his head.
Yeah, by orgasm.
Yeah.
Her orgasm snapped his head.
Yeah, popped it like a melon.
And she didn't even realize it happened until she looked down.
She was totally hijacked by whatever that truck was.
And then her boyfriend ended up killing her.
Yeah.
That's all.
Dude, there were some mafia moments that were happening in that. There's like I said, even the beginning, and it's in the trailer, right?
Well, actually, I got to the point. I did get to the point where, because I was wondering this through the first couple episodes, like where the one kid lost his girlfriend. I forget his name. Huey, that became friends with Twilight. He lost his girlfriend like 3 days ago, and then all of a sudden, literally, she died. It didn't she go somewhere else.
He's holding her disembodied hands in his hand.
And it doesn't do it justice in the previews, because you see the aftermath just flying through.
And then there's that moment where...
I think I swallowed a mole.
A molar. A molar.
But that's not the point I'm trying to say. It actually came around in the forefront today. Because I was in the episode I was watching, they were at the
A-Train. The names are brilliant.
Yeah,
Sorry.
A-Train's great. But they were at that Christian thing.
Yes.
And he was all like warming up to her. And then he was having second thoughts about going after them full-fledged. And then he saw a vision of his girlfriend who died a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, if my wife died a couple of days ago, I would not be thinking or hitting on any other woman. Don't get me wrong. Bright is damn cute and damn hot.
Yeah.
And if I wasn't married, I was single, I'd totally go after that.
Sure.
Yeah. But I was wondering that up until that point, and then they flashed into that, and then he got enough balls to say, fuck her, and I'm going to do what I'm going to do because they killed my girlfriend.
Yeah. And
it brought it back in for me. I'm like, all right, that's fine.
Yeah, and it's like, they had 8 episodes, and you gotta move the story along. So I'm sure there was some.
And there's something to do with that Asian chick too that smashed everybody when they let her out of the cage.
Well, she's part of the group for sure.
Yeah, they let her out of the cage, and they were just like, the one guy killed himself. He's like, fucking, I don't want to get smashed. When you kill yourself because you're afraid to face something, you know that shit is scary.
Yeah.
Fuck. I was like, they're just like the Frenchies sitting there like shit in a brick.
There's great performances in the show. There's great interaction. I think there's really great dialogue. I do think that it's a little tricky with some of the pacing. Like that, you'll like wonder. Usually, you get like these arcs that happen in storytelling. Sometimes you're like,
well, that Aquaman character, I could care less about that fucker.
Oh, there's some there. We talk about.
With the dolphin thing, he's all talking about having sex with a fucking dolphin at one point.
But dude,
it's like weird. It's a little too weird for me.
Dude, there are some things that are out there.
That's a little too weird. He's like saving the dolphin. He's spraying him, and the dolphin's like, he's like, I don't want to talk about it right now. Talking to the dolphin.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'll touch you in your place later. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? This is way out there. I don't mind him talking.
That shit was a little fucked up.
I don't mind him saving the dolphin. It's a little hokey even for that.
Yeah.
But once you started telling that he was dating the dolphin, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm out of that guy.
Well, that's the whole thing with Homelander too. Like he has some weird maternal relationship with the director.
No, it's maternal. It's not about he's loving her.
She's not even. But like it's almost like they combine sex and like this mother love thing. It's weird, dude. Yeah.
So it gets weirder.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It gets weirder.
Yeah, it gets weirder. And then the Wonder Woman character, I feel for her because it seems like she's stuck.
She's definitely stuck. Well, she's the foreshadow for the female lead. I forget her name, Twilight or Brightburn, whatever. Not Brightburn, but you know, I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The female love interest for the main character, Huey, and like she's what these. She's the mirror of what these guys could have been.
You're saying Homelander wasn't born that way.
Homelander wasn't born with superpowers?
Yeah.
Well, it's a tricky thing.
All right, don't go and don't spoil it, but I got that vibe with what you just said.
Well, it's a tricky thing.
Yeah, I got that.
And I don't want to spoil it either.
Anyway, but it just seems because
it's worth watching. For
Homelander
sure.
and the Wonder Woman character, can't remember, had a relationship. They admitted
Maeve
to
or Queen Maeve,
and then he pulled her aside and said something about I'm gonna date, but you can't fucking date anybody or some shit like that. I'll kill him.
Yeah, well, he's a psychopath.
He's fucking nuts,
up lunatic, right?
He is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and if there was ever a superhero like that, I would steer clear.
You'd be effed.
Bye-bye.
He could basically turn around and say, "Listen, I'm now the ruler of the world, and what are you going to do about it?" Which is I think it's one of the.
That's my point earlier. Is they have to have something on him.
There's no kryptonite so far.
So what? So you're spoiling that for me?
So far.
So even so far, but what do they have on them that keep them in line?
Well, there's an interesting thing in episode 8.
All right, don't ruin it for me, but there is something to keep him in line.
There is an interesting thing in episode 8.
Because, I mean, the guy seems like nothing can harm him. At least Superman and Kryptonite, this guy has fucking nothing.
Well, how cool was it with the invisible guy?
Oh, it was awesome, man. They shoved something up his ass and then blew him. And that was perfect.
Blew him up there.
But it was cool when the invisible guy was talking before they realized the way to kill him.
Yeah.
He was all like, dude, you guys ain't fucking touching me. I'm a superhero,
Yeah,
man.
I got diamond skin. Fuck you.
I'm in the 7, motherfucker.
Yeah. He's in the ladies' bed. It's like he's a superhero. He's got this awesome superpower. And where does he hang out? In the ladies' room.
Oh, yeah.
He's still that. You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, that is one of the most interesting things. It's like even though if you give people superpowers, doesn't mean that they're superhumans.
Mm-hmm.
You know. All right, so moving on. I saw last night. I saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It's the ninth.
Did you talk about this already?
I did, but I want to go a little bit further. It's the ninth film for Quentin Tarantino. He's supposed to retire after his next film.
Well, he's supposed to do Star Trek.
Well, it's supposed to be 10 films, and he is out.
He's only done 9?
Yeah, I said the same thing, dude. I thought he did.
I swear, I
more.
watched someone Jimmy Kimmel the other night when he was all decked out going to the premiere a couple of nights ago.
Yeah,
I swear to God, the motherfucker was on coke.
Oh,
he was like wired like a motherfucker.
Every interview I've ever seen him in, he seems that way.
Yeah, I think he does coke.
Maybe it's Hollywood.
Yeah, fucking why not?
Yeah, you know,
he's a great director, but the only thing I have about him is, I mean, every movie I watched of his, I've enjoyed. Dusk Till Dawn, they're all fantastic. I just wish he would change it up a little bit.
Well, it's funny you say that because so I saw the movie. I enjoyed the movie. I thought the beginning was cool. I thought the middle was he wandered around a little bit.
I heard he drug it out a little bit
in the middle, and then the ending was really awesome. But he loves movies, and he loves that late 60s, 70s period.
Then why is he going to do Star Trek then?
Well, I think
He's
maybe
still trying to do it.
I think if he does it, he's doing it as a total juxtaposition, right? But you can see
now it's supposed to be the Chris Pine timeline, and Chris Pine's supposed to be in it.
But I mean, it's like, how do I then challenge myself? Because here's my comfort zone. How do I do something? He
must be a huge fan.
Yeah, of course. But I think he's doing something. If he does Star Trek, he's going to say, how do I then break from everything that I've done, all my comfort zone things that I'm used to, and do something totally different? Because if you look at Reservoir Dogs, and you look at Pulp Fiction, and you look at Jackie Brown, and you look at all these films, like, I don't know who he's got for his art direction and his cinematographer, but they make you feel like you are there. You are in the late 60s.
Well, he
70s.
talked about that, shutting down Hollywood Boulevard, or was Hollywood Boulevard, or whatever the main strip in Hollywood is.
Yeah, Hollywood Boulevard.
He had to shut it, the one side of it down for a week. Then he had to shut the other side of it down for another week. Yeah. And they let him do it. I mean, I guess somebody pulled some strings, and then he goes, the hard part wasn't shutting it down. The hard part was reconfiguring it the way it would look like in the 60s.
Oh, hell yeah, man. And that's exactly my point. It looks like someone painstakingly went through old photos and old videos of those scenes at that time, and they were like, we got to do what's in this reference.
Well, like I said, everybody I said that saw it, liked it. They all didn't love it. They said it was. They said they would have loved it if it wasn't maybe a half hour shorter.
Yeah, well, that's fair. That's fair.
They said it was really long, but it was good.
That's fair. If you look at if you liked Pulp Fiction, I think Pulp Fiction's a better movie. But if you like Pulp Fiction, if you like Jackie Brown, if you liked Reservoir Dogs, then you'll like this movie. It's not as violent. It's not as graphic in the same sense, if that's what you're into. But watching the actors say the lines that he wrote, I could watch fucking Brad Pitt all goddamn day, man. Leonardo DiCaprio, and I know we talked about this. Leonardo DiCaprio, just a phenomenal actor, and he holds tension at certain points in this movie where you're like, "Ooh, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on?" And that's what I think. Those are the moments that carry you through the film. So I recommend it. Do I think it's his best film? Nah, but it's definitely worth watching. There is a moment, though. I just want to say, I just was looking at my notes where Brad Pitt fights Bruce Lee.
Oh, come on. That had to last like 2 seconds.
They make it believable.
Like he actually made a challenge to Bruce Lee. Come on.
All right. Spoiler alert. All right.
Spoil the shit. I don't give a fuck. That's Bruce Lee right in my heart, baby.
Dude, I'm a big fan of Bruce Lee, right? So spoiler alert, Bruce Lee and Brad Pitt's a stuntman to Leonardo DiCaprio's character.
I know the story.
And they're hanging out in this back lot. And they're Bruce Lee is pontificating on how awesome he is. He's like basically saying, you know, I would fight you, but my hands are lethal weapons. And if I killed you, I would go to jail. And Brad Pitt, and this is in the trailer, Brad Pitt goes, yeah, if you killed anybody, you'd go to jail. It's called manslaughter. Like that. It's like,
typical Brad Pitt.
Like, you're not telling me, asshole, anything new. And so they get into it, and the exchange is very much Bruce Lee, as far as like, but they make him a little clownish. Right?
Oh, did they?
But it's okay because it services the story, right?
But it's Bruce Lee, man.
And the only reason you like it is because you really love Brad Pitt,
right?
And his character.
And who wins the fight?
It's a draw.
Oh, bullshit! I call bullshit. There's no fucking way in anywhere world, not Brad Pitt, but anybody in their right mind, not unless you are a level of Bruce Lee.
Dude, it's
even
so much
match
fun.
that.
It's so much fun to watch. It really is.
Yeah,
Because
I'll wait till DVD.
yeah, DVD's
Or
fun.
not DVD.
Oh, speaking of DVD,
Avengers came out today.
that's right. Endgame. They hit a Billy and they were like, "All right, we're ready."
Yeah, come in. I saw the end cut scenes already.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, it was online.
You still gonna buy it?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy it too.
Dude, it was the greatest fucking movie ever.
Yes.
Yeah, that fucking came like 5 times. Dude, I like rewatch. Yeah, that's what I wanted to tell you earlier. Talk about ad lib scenes. You know, he had the first Iron Man where he said
Sure.
Iron Man. He didn't ad lib a scene. He just offered his advice to the end scene where he dies.
Yeah.
Originally they were having him like talk a lot before he passed.
Kind of a monologue.
Yeah, a little bit, but as he's dying. But he goes, Robert Downey Jr. goes, no, that's not what he would do. I know that's what he did in his life, but
Yeah.
he's not going to talk.
Just because he's dying doesn't mean his ego's dying. Well, his ego's still there.
No, he doesn't talk. He lets it, you remember?
Well, he says, "I am Iron Man."
No, I mean,
After that.
after that,
Oh,
when he's
okay,
like
okay.
seeing all the people.
Yeah.
They
but
said they said he was. They said they originally wanted him to have like a speech,
Yeah.
like a dying speech kind of thing, and Robert Downey Jr. said, "No, that's not how my character would
Yeah.
do that." And they're like, "Well, he's pompous." He goes, "Yeah, but not at his core."
God damn, that's good.
You know, something like that. And so that's why he said bye to Potts, and then he said bye to Spider-Man, and then that was it.
Yeah. So much more. So
But
much better.
and then
So poetic.
And then in the cutscene, they had everybody kneeling after
Oh,
he
I saw
passed.
that.
But Gamora walked away.
Yeah. Well,
And I understand why they cut that out, because there was no need to kneel. It was just be sad for him, put your head down.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of those things.
And you already have the funeral scene to honor it, so.
Yeah. It's superfluous.
What does that mean?
It means it's extra. It's bonus.
No.
It's more icing than you need.
John has more education than I do, and
Not much, buddy.
and I've had a couple more beers, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what superfluous means. But it was.
But you just said it with the greatest of ease, man.
I did, but I still don't know what it fucking means. I say a lot of things I don't know what they mean.
You got anything else for me, Nicholas?
Nah, man, we're good. I just, just get Endgame, buy it, watch it, love it.
It's happening. Matter of fact, I think I'm going to go upstairs and buy it tonight.
I'll probably get it this weekend. I'm just not. I got a lot going on, but I don't want to just buy it. I want to buy it and then watch it.
Yeah.
And my daughter's getting into it now. I really want to cut this before we leave. My wife is getting pissed because she watches every time Spider-Man comes on. She likes it. She watches it with me. She's Daddy. She calls him Superman. I'm like, no, it's Spider-Man. It's
That's
not
all right.
Superman. But she'll sit there and watch it with me.
Oh, you're raising.
She always asks me who's the bad guy, who's the good guy.
You're
And I'm loving it. Like, yeah.
You're raising your kids right.
Oh, exactly.
You're a good daddy.
Damn right.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us for this week's episode of the Nick, John, and Jamie Show. Please be sure to subscribe to our show. We can be found on iTunes and Google Play and Stitcher and Spotify. We're also on YouTube. If you are digging the show, definitely subscribe. Subscriptions are good. You should subscribe. That's my recommendation for this week. Subscribe. That and go see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. You can also follow us on Twitter at NJJ Show, Instagram at NJJ Show, and if you are on the old school Facebooks, search the Nick, John, and Jamie Show and follow our page. We definitely post. We don't. I'm not so much on posting on Facebook every day, but I post whenever the new episodes are up and give everybody on Facebook a heads up to give us a listen. So thanks again, everybody, and have a marvelous week.